Well, I'm with my friend Darin here, and it sounds like God has made quite a difference in your life, Darin.
Yes, that is true. I don't know that I'd be sitting here talking to you right now if it hadn't been for his intervention.
Well, intervention is what you said. So,
Mhm.
who were you before God intervened?
I mean, I've always been me, but I wasn't the me I was now. Drugs, alcohol mostly, but drugs, various negative things.
Have you experienced firsthand a change in your life due to God? Are you looking for a change in your life? God's Spirit blows wherever it wishes. You hear its sound, but you don't know where it comes from or where it's going. It's the same with everyone who is born of the Spirit. Welcome in. Well, intervention is what you said. So,
Mhm.
who were you before God intervened?
I mean, I've always been me, but I wasn't the me I was now. Drugs, alcohol mostly, but drugs, various negative things.
Various negative things.
Mhm.
So, what happened? What happened when you had this encounter?
I don't know. I mean, I don't even know. I moved to this town. My then wife we were going through it, and I don't know, I was drinking pretty heavy and things weren't the best. And I remember one day on the way to work, just walking to work because it wasn't far from where I lived. And I walked by this church and I just went to see if the door was unlocked. Of course, it was probably 2:33 in the afternoon, something like that. I don't know for sure, but of course the church wasn't open, and I remember it frustrated me. I don't even know why I wanted to see if it was open, to tell you the truth, but
What made you go up to the church in the first place?
Yeah, I
to
don't
see if
know.
it was open.
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know why I decided I'd walk by that church. I don't know how many times that day. I just, for some reason, decided to see if it was open.
So you went up there and it was locked.
Yes, it was. So I went to work and went about my day. And the next day on the way to work, I tried it again. But of course, the church was locked. And now my frustration is growing because, I started to wonder what good is a church, that is never open. And I thought, well, now checking the door isn't even about going in there. It's about satisfying this idea, right, that this church is just never open. And it wasn't, so I went to work, and yeah.
So it almost became a thing where, like, I just got to see if this church is ever open.
Sure did. I think it was probably 4 attempts, and the church was locked. And by the 4th time, I was pretty upset because I'm like, good gravy. Went to work. I didn't end up working that whole day. And took an advance of my paycheck, and of course, whenever I left work, early and took money out of my paycheck, I went to the bar, and me and my friend started drinking. And
So you got to work early. You got fresh money in your pocket. Went to the bar.
Yeah, decided we were done, so we went back up to the bar, and it was probably close to midnight before we finally called it or had enough.
So you've been drinking heavily that night until midnight or so, and you left to go home. What happened then?
Well, I told my friend, I remember telling him we left. I said, hey, this church is never open, whatever. So we're walking, and we walk by the church, and out comes the pastor from the church.
In the middle of at midnight.
Very late, yes. The timeline is kind of sketchy, but it was pretty dang dark, and so I know it had to be close to that. And now I'm really like, I don't know why it upset me so much, right? I think it's just because when I tried to get in it, the church wasn't open.
Yeah, you tried at least 4 times in the middle of the day. It's locked. Now it's after dark.
Yep.
You've been drinking, and suddenly a pastor comes out of the church.
Yep. And I told my friend, I said, can you believe this? And I won't say what I said, but I said, can you believe this? Like, I've been stopped by this church on the way to work, and the church never opened. And he's coming out of the church now. And I said, we need to go talk to him. And my friend wasn't too keen on the idea. I don't know. We finally decided to. I walked across the street, and he was trying to get in his car. We walked up behind him, and I closed his car door.
So here it is after dark, and this pastor walks out of church and goes to get in his car. He opens the door. You come up and behind him. It's after dark, and you shut the door.
I shut the door, yep. I was upset. And I just remember him turning around and looking at me, and he says, can I help you? And man, I was really going to give it to him. that I was drunk, no brakes. That's just how I was. And I was all geared up, and I just remember looking at him and saying, I need help. That's all that came out. I need help.
What an amazing story Darin has to share on how his life has been changed through his encounter with Jesus. Thank you for joining us for part 1 of Darin's story, and please be watching for the continuation of this amazing change in Darin's life. Thank you for joining us.